What if I told you that by the end of today's episode, the thing you hate most about yourself could become one of your superpowers? It's absolutely possible, and I'm living proof. This is Andrew Petty is Dying, where we tap into the power of our mortality to become the people we were made to be and live the lives we were made to live. I'm your host, Andrew Petty, and I'm dying. I hate to say it, but so are you. 23 years ago, on a humid summer evening in suburban Virginia, I was standing over a dying deer in the middle of the road. The front of my metallic blue 1985 Volvo 240 was mangled, and one headlight was pointing its beam straight up into the sky. It wasn't a good situation for the deer, my car, or me, but ironically, the plight of the deer and the condition of my car were the last things on my mind, because I was in the grips of debilitating anxiety. Not about the deer or my car. I was in the grips of anxiety with a capital A, the kind that has a life of its own and latches on to anything and everything it can, the kind that shows up suddenly and blows up your life. And at that moment, all I could think about was getting back to my house so I could hunker down in my bedroom and wait out the wave of anxiety that was threatening to overwhelm me. Before I go on with the story, I want you to do a little self-reflection. What imperfection or part of your story keeps you up at night? What do you wish had never happened or would go away? Maybe you had a really difficult childhood. Maybe it's something about your appearance. Maybe you have dyslexia or a chronic mental health challenge like me. We've all got something, or even several somethings. Whatever that thing is for you, keep it in mind as I pick up my story again. Fast forward to today, and I've been living with the anxiety ever since. But 3 years ago, thanks to a perspective Tim Ferriss offered from his own life on a podcast episode, I decided to stop trying to rid my life of the anxiety and see if there was actually any use for it. In some ways, after 20 years of constant battle, I think I was just tired of fighting it. So I was willing to give just about anything else a try. That was about the same time I had begun my work as a life coach. My particular flavor of anxiety tends to revolve around catastrophic health events like heart attacks or cancer. And as I attempted to find some use for the anxiety, I wondered if, compared to my abnormal preoccupation with death, maybe most people thought about death too little. Maybe most people were paying way too little attention to death and were headed toward a deathbed full of regrets. And almost instantly, the words "the graveyard group" popped into my head from seemingly nowhere, and I knew there was something there. For 3 years, that concept rolled around in my mind. I wondered how to put it into action. And then a good buddy of mine said, just get it going. Just start a group and see how it goes. So I decided to do that. I gathered a group of guys who were up for the experiment. In February of 2019, we began meeting on a weekly basis. And each week, we would wrestle with the inevitability of our mortality. We would write our obituaries. We would visit graveyards. We would consider what we would do if we only had 5 years to live. What would we do differently today? And we used a mastermind format. And in that mastermind format, each week, a different person brought a topic that to them was really important to make progress on. If they made progress in that topic, a lot of things in their life would change. If they didn't make progress on that topic, then they would take it to the deathbed as a regret. Graveyard Group became a weekly place to remember our mortality, that it might come sooner rather than later, that no day is guaranteed, and to do our best to live the lives that we were capable of living right now instead of waiting for the elusive, never-arriving tomorrow. That group has been transformational for every person in it, not only in the quality and depth of the changes that each person has made in their lives, but also in the depth of the brotherhood and camaraderie that we've gained. It's been remarkable, and none of us would ever go a week without missing it if there was any way we could help it. I've since started other groups and want to continue to spread the impact and benefit of this idea of living with mortality in mind. Out of that has come the idea for this podcast, a different way and a different format to spread the benefit of this concept around the world if possible, so that more of us are courageously confronting our mortality and letting it motivate us to become who we can be and live the lives we were made to live. So until recently, I've always seen the anxiety as a liability, a ding against my manhood, something that made me weak and was shameful, something that I hated with an absolute passion. Now, though, by accepting it rather than fighting it, I can honestly say that I'm grateful for the anxiety. It has become a superpower for me, and I'm able to use it to help others in ways that are really gratifying for me and transformational for them. So here's what I want you to consider. Your imperfections and the hard parts of your story are keys that can unlock your unique purpose in the world. They can become a superpower for you. They cause you to see and experience the world in a different way than literally everyone else around you, which means that by definition, you can impact the world in a different way than everyone else around you. This doesn't mean that you suddenly find some unnatural delight in your imperfections or that your story is suddenly free of pain. The anxiety I experience is still very often a painful and exasperating burden. But I believe our story and our unique purpose in life are inseparable. Our story, our imperfections, and our unique purpose in the world are intertwined. So how do we turn our imperfections into superpowers? Well, first, we turn the tables and begin to see our imperfections and the hard parts of our story as clues, pointing to our unique purpose in life, rather than as enemies to be overcome and expelled from our lives. We have to accept them. Only by accepting them can they become a guide, leading us toward our unique purpose. And here's the really magical part. As we tap more deeply into our purpose, the pain and discontentment that our imperfections have caused all our lives begin to fade into the background. Purpose, white-hot, crystal-clear purpose, is the most powerful remedy for pain. So here's my challenge to you today. Life is just too short to spend it railing against who we're not, what we can't do, and why life dealt us the hand we're holding. And I know that some of you are holding truly painful and difficult hands. Maybe you've dealt some of those cards to yourself. Even so, stop fighting your story and start owning it instead. Stop fighting your imperfections and start using them. Forsake the victim mentality and recast yourself as the hero on a quest to give everything you've got for the benefit of the world. You alone can do this, but you don't have to do it alone. In fact, I don't recommend trying to do it alone. You've lived so long in your own shoes, viewing yourself through your own lens, that you lack the objectivity needed to see your story and your imperfections in a new light. Enlist the support of a close friend, a mentor, a life coach like me. In my case, Tim Ferriss served as a sort of distant mentor for me to help me turn the corner with anxiety. Whatever you do, though, don't let another day pass without taking at least one step toward turning your imperfection into a superpower. And as you take that step, you get even closer to becoming the person you were made to be and living the life you were made to live. Remember, you are going to die, but you're not dead yet. So get after it. What imperfection can you turn into a superpower? Share your response in the comments on this episode's post on Facebook at Andrew Petty Coach. My purpose as a coach is to help you deploy your unique purpose in the world. To learn more about the Graveyard Group or a one-on-one coaching partnership, connect with me on Facebook or email me at andrew@digdeepwinbig.com. I'm so glad you tuned in today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Andrew Petty is Dying.